Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Marvel Movie Talk right here on Geekscape, where you want to be, the place to be. As always, I am Christian Bladt here, talking Marvel movies and otherwise here on Marvel Movie Talk, because Marvel Talk Movies and Otherwise is a bit of a clunky title. But with us, as he so often is, the one, the only, the great Nate Miller. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Good to see you guys.
And I'm going to let Eric keep doing his shenanigans by introducing David Brody, America's favorite Brooklyn boy, right down there. And Eric Connor with quite the Black Panther action figure. What era is that from? Is that from the first movie? Is that a Secret Wars figure that I didn't remember they made?
This was that game. Oh my gosh, I just blanked on it. Disney, where you put the thing down and you could be whoever. So they never did one in the banker, unfortunately. But yes, this was, of course, the Great Black Panther. So
very cool.
Chadwick, rest in peace.
Yes, exactly. So I don't think I know the Disney game, but I just kind of nodded just to move it along. So here we are assembled, as it were, to talk about Eyes of Wakanda, the 4 episodes that dropped on Disney Plus with, I would say, very little fanfare in the way that I knew it was coming. I was focused on, okay, great, I want to see this. Could be an interesting idea. And then when I went to look and I was like, oh, yeah, when is that going to premiere next week? Nope, it was already there. And all 4 episodes went at once. So I think that there was a lot of focus on Fantastic Four in that moment. And it got lost in the shuffle, which, I think there's probably, I don't know, let's just say they could premiere it now, maybe. But whatever the case, I was glad to see it. Who remembered when this was premiering? And or did all of you get reminded of it when I said, hey, I want to do an episode about this?
That's correct.
Okay.
Very much so.
Yeah, I didn't even know this was happening.
I didn't even know there was a Disney Plus. That's news to me as well.
Right. Yeah. You get everything on Hulu. Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a Marvel. So
yeah. And by the way, Daniel Drew knew what you were talking about. Disney Infinity, such a great game. It just proves that there isn't anything that Daniel Drew doesn't know.
I have Disney Infinity, and I didn't remember the name of the game.
Oh, wow. I appreciate that. Well, as we assemble again, to use that a second time, Daniel said he enjoyed the miniseries. Seeing how things changed over time was great. Yes, the Iron Fist episode was certainly my favorite, and I did look through some of the stuff that Eric sent, and you did guess correctly that was the one that I enjoyed the most. I thought that these were all interesting. I was very surprised that the first episode, I'm not going to try and be exact, but it was set around the year 1200, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is going to cover a little bit of a wider span than I thought this show was, But I want to ask each of you just sort of overall thoughts on the 4 episodes, and then we'll go through each of them. And Nate, let me ask you first your thoughts on these 4 stories they decided to tell.
My overall thoughts, I'd give it like a B+. I think it was good. It had some cool moments. I am always in favor of more world building for Marvel stuff, so like I thought that was really cool. I feel like it was very light on a lot of the themes that it kind of presented. I felt like the animation quality was good, but I felt it like severely lacking in style. I feel just like kind of like the framing was just kind of very generic. I wish it kind of had more of a personal identity. A lot of times I felt like, oh, I'm watching like a shinier Clone Wars in terms of like animation style. But I did think the voice acting was good. I thought like I like the overall arc story wise of like what they were trying to portray, with the exception of like kind of the time travel stuff at the end. I didn't really like that much. But yeah, I mean, overall, I would say if you like Marvel animation, if you like Black Panther stuff, like, yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. I think it's one of the better things they've done. I think there's just a lot of things. As I was watching it, I was like, this is cool, but it could have been so much cooler. It's
Right.
kind of my overall feeling.
And you did have a similar feel that I did, is that I like the animation, but stylistically it's very reminiscent of Clone Wars, and specifically Clone Wars, not Rebels, not not anything else. It like really felt like that, which I mean, that certainly worked for that show. And I thought there's definitely some very cool imagery. I felt like if these 4 were part of a collection of maybe even 8, and they had more stories, I feel like these being the 4, I was like, oh, okay. I feel like there was a lot more potential. Didn't dislike it. Again, it was under 2 hours to watch the 4 episodes. So I like that part. And Daniel Drew keeping me on as 1200 BC. So I was only off by 2,400 years or whatever. So,
or as 2 of us would call it, 1200 BCE, just to make sure it's before the Common Era.
Oh, I actually thought it was before Carnage, the spinoff of Venom. I actually thought that was the scale we were using, was before Carnage.
Yeah, we reset the timeline again there. We're like, we have to start at 0.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then there's like when he's just Cletus Cassidy, and then there's you reset it again when he becomes Carnage.
I thought it was since Bobby Cannavale was born. I don't know. I guess I was wrong.
I wasn't expecting Bobby Cannavale to come up today, but I'm glad he did. Eric Connor, I would like to
let me Google who that is.
Yeah.
You'll recognize him. Don't worry.
You will probably be like, oh yeah, I've seen him in something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Eric,
Good your joke. Overall. He's like, okay, I saw the guy. Good joke. But depends on who you saw. If you saw somebody else, be like, no, not that guy. Right. Eric, your overall thoughts on these 4 stories?
One of the images I sent you was the old Friday the 13th series, which similar kind of hook to, if you guys ever read or saw the movie of Needful Things by Stephen King, with the notion of like these like haunted artifacts that kind of get out into the wild. The original Friday the 13th series had even a little bit of like an X-Files bent, in terms of, there was a pair of them who kind of looked like Mulder and Scully.
Yes.
Yeah,
they were cousins. Yes.
Yeah. These are the guys you get when you can't get Mulder and Scully, basically.
Well, this is pre Mulder and Scully,
right? Why not?
So,
but so the idea of like all these kind of artifacts out there, it's a great hook. I think that's a really cool way to kind of get into some storytelling. I like the anthology element to an extent, but I think what happens is, especially watching 4 of them, it becomes a little bit like the what if thing of like, well, now we reset again, and we reset again, which is fine. And I thought 3 of these were pretty great. The 4th one was okay.
I'm just curious, which we'll go through all of them. Yeah. Which one did you think was just okay?
The last one. I think the time travel got a little busy. But I found like I wasn't huge on how the figures are drawn as much as I was on the landscapes and the backdrops. I thought those were beautiful. Love the music, by the way, particularly the Iron Fist episode. That one really like popped. But it's a good show. I mean, I think anyone who's watching this probably has watched it, will watch it, as they should. I think maybe if they had a little more connective tissue between the episodes, again, they went with an anthology choice, time travel kind of thing, or I'm sorry, periods of history.
Yeah. When we saw the protagonist from the first episode, when she turned up older in the second, I actually figured, okay, great. So we're going to kind of have her check into all of these. And then it was like, nope, just those 2. Yeah. I'm leaving this on the screen because I will not go down this rabbit hole, but Friday the 13th, the series, is something that what worked against it was the title, because it had nothing to do with Friday the 13th, the movies. In fact, internationally, it's released as Friday's Curse. It's not called this, but because they owned the IP, Paramount did, they were just like, great, let's call it Friday the 13th, the series. And it was a very interesting idea of like, as anthologies go, and just sort of, this guy who had an antique shop made a deal with the devil, and then his family's like, well, great, now I've got to go get all these antiques that are cursed,
And what, just one quick thing to add on. one thing I realized as I was about to sit down and talk to y'all, it's like, they could have gone a little further with if vibranium got in the hands of a variety of people over the course of history, how they could have weaponized it more. I think like maybe one thing that limited the storytelling to an extent, not so the first episode did this quite well, but the other ones, I feel like it didn't get as much into, well, if, Achilles had access to vibranium, how things might have played out differently.
Yeah, and I think you can keep it that far back in history. I think that that certainly would have been interesting. We'll go through each of the 4 episodes, but Mr. Brody, I wanted to get your thoughts on these 4 and what you thought.
Well, I thought the animation on the people, to agree with Eric, was weird. They all had like ant bodies, were like the Clone Wars, were like they were like big, thin. They were all awkwardly shaped. I thought the backgrounds were great. The train fight episode, the 3rd episode, when they're on the train, was terrific. The sound, I played it through my speakers, through the sound system, and every clank and bang and groan was right on point. I really enjoyed the sound design and the music and overall. As far as the show, I found little variety from episode to episode. I did like that the woman from the first episode was an old lady in the second episode, and they referenced somebody in the 4th episode from the first. I like that anthology aspect, but I wanted to give you my brief synopsis of all the episodes and see if you see a theme.
Yes, please.
Episode 1, a mission to recover a Wakandan artifact. I'm sorry, a mission to recover a Wakandan and Wakandan artifacts, and the person fights a Wakandan. Episode 2, a mission to recover a Wakandan artifact. Wakandan turns on a friend, made a hero that we know as a man into a woman. Episode 3, a mission to recover a Wakandan artifact. Wakanda turns on a friend. Number 4, a mission to recover a Wakandan artifact. They fight another Wakandan, same as episode 1. They make another male hero a woman. So I just found repetition in the storylines. Although I enjoyed it, had this been 12 episodes and these 4 were sprinkled in, I wouldn't have noticed it. But since it was the same storyline in each one, and to Eric's point, the Helen of Troy had a necklace. Okay, then what? Nothing. Nothing was done with it. The guy turned on his friend. He screwed over Achilles, and then he killed him. So we can break down each episode. I just thought overall.
Okay, hold on now. He offered Achilles multiple opportunities to stop. He didn't.
Yeah, 100%. But he still killed him, which changed the course of our history.
He forced him to kill him.
Yeah,
he beat the crap out of him, and he said, "Stop it!
Yeah,
don't make
it."
He said, "No,
he killed him. He killed him over a necklace.
I'm going to do what I want." And he said, "Okay."
Don't be such a heel, Achilles. Thank you. Good night.
That's right. Hey, it wouldn't have killed him to say, you know what? It's a Wakandan artifact. It's vibranium or whatever it is. I can't let you have it.
What do you mean makes a man a woman? We're talking about 2 mantles that we know through comic book lore have been passed down from person to person. There is no gender assigned to them. The Iron Fist can be a man. It can be a woman. We're talking about thousands of years in the past.
Don't make me put this on.
Yeah, please don't make him put that on. He has to go out in public after
taking me literal. I'm not an anti-woke guy. I was just pointing out that they made Iron Fist that we are more familiar with in that era a woman, and Black Panther, who we are more familiar with as a man, in that era a woman. I was just pointing out the similarities in the plot line. I don't give a crap if they're man or woman. That wasn't what I was saying.
Sure.
Just that the plots were similar, and the time they could have chosen any period of time. They chose 2 periods very far apart where they happened to be women. I get it. You want to have a balanced cast. I wasn't finding fault with it, just so we're on the same page. I'm fine with it. I just found out. I'm just saying it was like they did it again. Right. That's all.
And by the way, our just 2 notes. Our current Black Panther is a woman, Shuri. Our current, if you follow the thread to the end of Iron Fist season 2, our current Iron Fist is Colleen Wing. Until they continue that story or somebody else becomes Iron Fist, those are our 2 Iron Fists. So I do know what you mean, though. Once they had done it in the, and again, this is one of those times where, look, what if I could have used less episodes, especially in season 3? But this is one where I'm like, yeah, I don't think 4 was enough for what they were doing. And again, if they were 8 or 12 episodes, I don't think it would be, like it wouldn't be as noticeable. Any of the things that you're talking about, Brody.
Yeah, that's all. It's just spread over 4. It's all obvious, and spread over 12, it wouldn't have been. That's all. It's like, oh, they did it again.
The X-Files model would have been really good, I think, for this, where you do like part serialized with a sprinkle of part serialized with a sprinkle of procedural. Like if we had 8 episodes, 10 episodes, and a couple along the way are like stories of the past, or one that's on a kind of a separate part of the universe. But I think one of the things you're bringing up here, Brody, too, it's like, because they didn't get into the specifics of the objects, I think, enough, that might be also one of the reasons why there is a sort of redundancy to the at least the plots, because they didn't really get into the weeds on what would it mean if they had something this powerful in their hands.
Specifically in the 4th episode, where they even say, "Oh, it's just an axe." Yeah, it's just an axe. Do you want to tell us anything about like what it could do, what it would mean if it fell into the wrong hands? No.
Well, he says the tip is vibranium.
Well, yeah, no. I just
tip.
was like,
just the tip.
You guys like tackled each other to make that joke. All right. I'm sorry, Nate, but they got a double bell for that. Daniel Drew would have liked more episodes. Also, Brody, you just got fact checked. In the comics, the first ever Iron Fist was also a woman. If Daniel Drew says it, it's right.
Again, not complaining about it, just pointing out that it was the same plot line in 2 episodes. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You want to make Captain America a woman, Superman, they did all that already. It's fine.
Just don't make her British.
Yeah.
Don't make her British. Then you have to cut her in half.
Yeah. Well, what you definitely don't want to do if you're sports talk host Mike Francesa, what you don't want is to make Superman a dog. You want to stay away from that. But in any case, let's dive into the 4 episodes that we got here. And the first is called Into the Lion's Den. And yes, it is set in 1260 BC. So thank you for Daniel for keeping me honest there. I found this to be kind of an interesting idea, somebody who left Wakanda. And, I found that to be interesting. And, I think that this was the one that was the most like, okay, yeah, they're doing a good job kind of filling in some of this backstory of Wakanda. I, for one, was impressed that you're gonna make me do the math. I don't know, 4,000 years ago, they had the same kind of technology that they apparently do in the 21st century. I mean, they've got like ships and things. I was like, okay, they're advanced, and I think we always knew, but man, they are really advanced. I think that that took some getting used to. But I found the story to be interesting and engaging. And I'm really bad with the names, but I believe our main character was Nkati, and Nkati. If anybody wants to pronounce that differently, you're more than welcome to. Actually, that's the rogue agent. So that's Nkati. And he was the rogue agent who had, I guess, trained everyone who had been sent to apprehend him. So that's why they get our hero Nani, who was expelled at some point for reasons that we don't really need to know. And I appreciated them not getting too bogged into it. And I'm sorry, but if Cami Egan is here, she only watched 1 episode, thought the animation was good, but the story was just okay. Yeah, you're probably going to feel that way through 4 of them. You're not going to be like, oh, I wasted my time, this wasn't good. You're not going to be like, oh, I should have watched the new War of the Worlds with Ice Cube on Amazon Prime instead of this.
So ready for it.
Yeah, we'll be covering that this weekend on my personal podcast, The Blackcast. So yes, I was intentionally working in a plug, but it also seemed like an opportunity. Look at Daniel Drew just giving me this whole timeline. So episode 2 is around 1180 BC. Episode 3 is 1400 AD. And episode 4 is 1896 AD. Thank you, Daniel. please let me know what year AD it is right now, because I'm having trouble keeping up. But let me go in the reverse order this time. And Brody, specific thoughts on Into the Lion's Den.
Visually, I liked it. I thought you had a good antagonist in the episode, the lion. It just seemed like, he got way too many followers and way too many ships and way too much of a lot of things very quickly, that he built this massive empire of torture and pillaging. And the fact that they killed him seemed harsh for the Disney Channel. I mean, there was a lot of killing in this episode, which I thought was, not what I expected on Disney. Now, look, they didn't show the deaths, but they showed a lot of stabbing, like assumed stabbing.
Yeah, but not a lot of blood.
Twisting and
Yeah,
not a lot of blood.
But some
but
decent
a lot of people
thunks into
died.
heads. Yeah.
And this guy, wanting to start his own. Look, he was a bad person, but I was surprised that just the thought of wanting to start your own thing, it would be like, the British going and killing all the Americans, right? This guy was a bad guy, but he just wanted his own civilization with his own laws and his own rules. Other than that, I did enjoy it. I was one of the few. It was one of the two that I liked of the 4 episodes. I thought it was again visually good. The fights were good. The main character, the woman, whatever her name is, she was terrific as far as her fighting skills. Nani. So I enjoyed it. I thought the choreography of the animation was great. Solid episode.
I do think that the way you described it, it's very similar to the way that Joseph Smith wrote the Book of Mormon.
It's crazy.
It's basically, he's like, well, he just wanted, what's wrong with wanting to go off?
He just wanted to do his own thing.
Yeah,
he just wanted to have his own subjects in chains and people worship him as a god.
The only thing that was missing was him preparing a huge vat of Kool-Aid for everyone to drink in the last few minutes of the episode. But I do know what you're getting at, Brody. The idea of like, you leave Wakanda and you're like, oh yeah, this is great, but I guess there is something to be said for free will, and let me exercise my free will by imprisoning other people. I'm going to make you have free will whether you want it or not, basically.
Right. I'm going to make you happy and feed you while you do everything we tell you and not get paid.
I know. Yeah, I did like that. Well, go ahead, go eat all that. Like, no, I will not eat that food. What did you think about Into the Lion's Den, Eric Connor?
Well, Brody brought up, one thing I think that episode had over the other ones, really, the antagonist was really developed. And again, his use of the actual Wakandan technology, I thought this was the one that was the most sort of battle ready, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I also like the setup of the main character here. This, by the way, I thought was kind of like, we're talking about the themes of this one, the notion of like the women being in prison and they're supposed to sort of, he's only asking for you to smile. I was like, wow, they kind of went there. And this one, similarly, it surprised me. Like, it was a little more violent than I thought it would be, a touch more sexual. It didn't go too deep there, but enough so that I was like, all right, well, they're touching on a lot of themes here. They're not afraid to sort of, they're not dulling the edge of the blade. But sure. I did, I mean, his logic, the antagonist, little muddy. But at least that one, I felt like, okay, if someone went off with all these Wakandan goods, this is the kind of crap they could do. So I thought on that end, it set up a really good sort of antagonistic force. And I thought the fight scenes were pretty cool. Yeah, although the what do they call it? The silk dancing. I was like, well, okay, why not? I like Cirque du Soleil as much as the next guy. Sure.
Yeah, people don't know this, but Eric's middle name isn't Eric. It is, or isn't Aaron. It's Zumanity. So, yes.
Well, in Hebrew, it means something totally different.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, no, I thought, and also, by the way, I love that she was kind of like an expendable, right? They send her off saying, well, you're kind of a bad seed, so we don't mind if, you never come back. And then we discover really it's not that they were killed, right? Like everyone who tried to stop him became part of his army.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. If captured, we will disavow any knowledge of you or your mission. Yeah.
So I thought this one on that end, I think was the most sort of solidly built in terms of its structure, in terms of the stakes and all that, and the specificity. I still like the Iron Fist one the most, but this was a very cool way to start it. A great lead character. I wish we had her more, because I thought she was so interesting.
I was actually expecting that. As I said, even through 2 episodes, I was like, all right, yeah, so we'll get to see something like that. Nate, what did you think about the Lion and his misunderstood decision to strike out? And
He just wanted to free everyone. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
make
make
them
them
all free to worship him.
yeah.
I just want a piece of you,
Yeah.
a piece of this.
Yeah, and if they didn't want to, they could be convinced.
Yeah, very true.
I thought so. I don't know. I had mixed feelings watching this. At first, I was like, okay, this animation's kind of cool. And then when I was watching it, I was like, it's just so bland. Like the shot choices, the like you can see in this screenshot, like for some reason they put this really like overt like outline around every character, and it's in almost like every single scene regardless of the lighting, and it just makes it look to me it makes it look like AI. It makes it look like they like put someone's artwork through like a filter and to like clean it up, and like this is what they got. And so I'm thinking about this, I'm like, man, I just really wish this had more like a style, like it was making more artistic choices and like the visual expression. That being said, I was like actually enjoying the story. Some of historical anachronisms aside, I thought it
Sure.
was kind of a cool world lore building concept to be like, okay, they've had the vibranium for thousands of years, and so part of that is they send their people out to go like recover these things. And also this idea of like her encountering, discovering the war dogs, finding out that this guy didn't get expelled. He was sent out on a mission. He was sent to be embedded. Like the war dogs are a very fascinating part of the kind of Wakanda lore and stuff, because we're exploring what it looks like for a monarchy, and what a like CIA type organization looks like. They send them out to do the bidding of their country regardless of other countries' laws of what they're doing and stuff. And so seeing this guy who kind of was like trained in that, trained other people in that, got outside, got a taste of the quote unquote free world, and was like, wait, actually I want to build my own place here so I can have freedom, and I'm going to use the tools and the power that Wakanda trained me to have in order to like take advantage of that. I think that's very interesting. I don't think they went as deep into that as I would have liked to, and maybe it kind of set up an expectation for me that there was going to be more kind of like moral dilemmas in the rest of the show, which I think they touched on very, 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 very lightly. But I think that is part of why it devolves into feeling like a repeat episode where then they go recover artifact, then they go recover artifact, because like Eric said, we don't really see the influence of like what happens if they don't, what bad could the artifact do.
Right.
And I'm also saying that on the flip side, we also don't see like what is the person that is these moral characters, like the quandary of what they're being put in, what is the political drama that's going on behind like the Wakanda deciding to insert, an agent 9 years undercover into Greece to go recover that. Like, this is the next episode, but like there was more things that I thought they would get deeper into that I think would have made each episode feel more unique, diving deeper into kind of this moral quandary. But it felt like they barely just like kind of tapped it on the surface, and then they were like, okay, well now we kill him because he's the bad guy, and now you go back and surprise, now you get to go out and seed into other nations and do whatever Wakanda decides you want to do. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I expected an element. I mean, obviously, this idea of once honored soldier heads off and goes rogue. I thought that we would get parallels more reminiscent with Heart of Darkness, which is the novel that Apocalypse Now is based on. I was thinking more in the line of the novel than him just looking around saying the horror. I didn't think we were going to get all that, but and I thought it was going to be a little bit more like that, because he even does a little bit. The lion makes the point of like, well, here, why is this so bad? Why are there so many chains? He's like, all right, well, stop, poking holes in my theory, But I thought it was interesting, but like with all of these, I feel like there was certainly more that could have been done. Nate, you touched on the second episode, and I know Eric has limited time, so I want to move a little bit faster through these. But Nate, let's start with it because you brought up the Trojan War episode and the idea that this guy Memnon, who is Wakandan, is deep undercover for almost a decade with Achilles, and we get to see the Trojan War.
Yeah, I think this was my favorite episode. I think it had overall, I do think there were some good action sequences. I think this one probably had my favorite. I like the overall tone. I like the characters. Again, I liked that even though they didn't go very deep into it, they a little bit at the end of the episode, they touched on the like, what is it like to live a double life and like come back and like, who am I? And they very lightly touched on it, but I liked the tying in the historical stuff, and like I love when they do like alternate history things of things we know, but like here's something you didn't know. This actually was part of that. Like I think that stuff is cool. Yeah, I think this one is definitely of the four. This one was my favorite.
Yeah, I found it to be interesting because you're sort of dealing with those themes. And Eric, I feel like you have selected this image, these Trojans, do they never stop building, so that it could feed directly into this one? Is that why you did that? The USC Trojans football schedule?
The condom one felt a little bit too, dare I say, skin deep. So I went here because yes, it's almost football time, the most wonderful bruisingest time of the year. So let's go Trojans. Stop being mediocre, please. You get way too much money.
They had a good run 20 years ago. Yeah. So you want lightning to strike again. What are your thoughts on the episode, though?
I really like the central sort of relationship here with Achilles, and I apologize too. I'm blanking on the main character's name.
Memnon.
Memnon.
It's Agamemnon without the aga.
No aga. Hold the aga. Yeah, Memnon. I like this sort of notion of the sort of Donnie Brasco element. He's so in deep undercover. Who is he at this point? The idea of you're undercover for 10 years looking for one object. I'm like, geez, that's a tough gig.
It's dedication, yeah.
Yeah, but this is also one where it took. I mean, of the four, I think you could argue maybe the most known sort of story of history here and legend, and so I thought, if anything, and I did like this one quite a bit, but I thought it could have gone further with like how would this have reinvented the Trojan War. That I thought they didn't do enough with. But I did, and I know he reluctantly killed him. It's like, don't make me do this. And then the guy keeps saying, no, stop. I'm being serious. And finally he kills him. We're still like, oh my God, he killed him. I'm like, well,
yeah. If only he would have just gotten his shine box.
Right. Just chill out. Yes. Just don't worry about it. Rest your heel, man. Just chill. But I did like the emotional qualities of this one. I like, a main character who sort of feels really kind of torn between like where does his loyalty stand, like what truly matters to him in the end. And again, gets back to, though, it felt more just like it was an object and more so than something that would change the balance of history.
Right. Yeah. No. And this is again one of those instances where we get to see the tech that is literally thousands of years ahead of where they are. You have the little spray there, and Daniel Drew enjoyed it, so that's good.
If you could show the next one too, Christian.
Of course.
Yes. So now I got excited for that scene. Now with vibranium.
I don't think I actually read it when you said that. So yes.
I mean, but of all the ways they use the tech, that might have been my oddly my favorite. The notion of it's like, well, it's good. It's like second skin, no infection, no fuss, no muss. I'm ready to put that on the market. I think that's the tie-in we need with the show.
I'm investing.
Speaking of spraying things to prevent infections, Brody, I wanted to get your thoughts on this episode.
Well, Nate, did you have something you wanted to say?
No.
Oh, okay. Second episode, I enjoyed the fact that it was actual history that I knew about.
Sure.
Right. We
yeah.
know the Trojan War. We know the horse. So it was taking but again, what could have changed had they used the Wakandan tech? If Achilles had the tech and he was working to get it back from Achilles and steal it from him, and we could have seen him winning the war because of it, I would have been fine. But Helen had a necklace. She did nothing with it.
Yeah.
It's like the third episode, the dragon had a tongue for 1,000 years made of vibranium. They did nothing with it.
Yeah.
They did no technology. No, I still haven't figured out how a meteor of vibranium causes technology and the ability to make spray. I don't get that, but that's a whole other thing. The second episode, my problem was that he killed Achilles, whether he deserved it or not. He embedded it. Listen, Wakanda is a country that nobody knows about. It's hidden. Anyone who goes in or out, they know about it. Yet it's 4 episodes of people walking around with their artifacts. How is everybody walking around with artifacts if it's such tight security? And why did it take them 1,000 years to go after the dragon tongue? 1,000 years.
It's more like Willy Wonka's factory that once you're in, the security eases up a little bit. You can't get in, but once you're there, they tend to just downplay all of it.
Also, we saw in the first episode that there are people who have defected with technology.
Yeah, no, very true.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it.
It's like the kryptonite thing. Like that's always been my issue with Superman. Kryptonite is supposed to be such a rare thing that's the only thing that can hurt him, and yet it seems like across the movies and TV shows, everyone has it.
Oh yeah,
you sell it at Rite Aid and CVS. You can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, no, exactly. You could, I mean, I get my kryptonite in bulk at Costco, but that's just because I plan to use a lot of it one day. Let's talk about.
I got mine on Temu. It only works on Krypton. Dog.
My favorite episode is, of course, the Iron Fist episode. And Brody, I want to have you start talking about this episode.
Probably my favorite as well. I mean, again, like the first episode, you've got the hero who is imperfect, and they don't 100% trust him to go out on a mission. But I thought the fight scenes were probably my favorite of the 4 episodes, with him and Iron Fist. And again, the train fight was tremendous. I really enjoyed that. To me, that made the episode. Because of the movement and the train and the way they handled the train going up and through things. It just looked great. So that I liked. The ending was typical, the guy who does the wrong thing gives credit to the guy who really needs to get the credit for something, so that he was all his idea. It was brilliant. We've seen that 1,000 times. That seemed very cliche to me. The old, the nerdy guy thought of it all. It was all his plan. Let's reward him now. That's such a been done kind of thing. But I thought, he learned a valuable lesson about the lack of communication. He just should have said, I need the tongue from the dragon. I love you. We're friends. Whatever the relationship they had, they were sleeping together. He could have said, listen, can I get the tongue back? The fact that she opened the pickle jar that he couldn't open, I thought was pretty funny. Like she was like, here's the tongue. You should have just told me you wanted the tongue back. I didn't love any of the episodes, but if I had to say, I'd give this one a B.
Okay.
For the action and the choreography. I thought the fight, like I said, the fight scene was like 5 minutes long, it seemed. So
yeah,
I thought it was good.
So I'm going to ask Nate your thoughts on this, and then I'll have Eric talk about 3 and 4 together until the clock runs out.
Sure.
And,
I'll be quick.
Pumpkin.
This one is kind of, I'm surprised. I mean, I guess I'm not that surprised. This is my least favorite episode. Not because it's bad. I just didn't really enjoy the tonal shift into more just like overt comedy. And this is the only like main character that I didn't really enjoy. I did like the Iron Fist parts. I thought that was cool. Like the fight in the cafeteria was really cool. Just like the character was cool. And I do think this one really shows off a lot of where the scenery does look really good and like the environments look really good. But yeah, just tonally, like it just kind of didn't really do much for me with the like overtly comedy stuff. And this episode could like have not happened, and I wouldn't feel like I really missed anything out of the kind of 4 episodes.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I can see where that's coming from. It basically is because of the Iron Fist, and Eric did latch on to the fact that that's why this would be the one that I would be the most interested in, because I like the exploration of. They didn't even say the word Kunlun at any point, but they didn't need to. So.
I do want to answer Drew's chat of I do think it was Gunlun because he crash lands there.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You're right.
I think that's the only way. That's why it's been there for 1,000 years and they haven't tried to get it before, because they just literally can't find it. But him crash landing there and her finding him, I do think is relevant, because like that's how Danny Rand finds the island, finds it the first time, right? It's like
all right, so Eric, I know that you have a lot of imagery to go with this, and we've got to squeeze about 2 episodes into 3 minutes or so when you have to leave. So
yeah,
I'll let you watch your own clock, but talk about this episode, and I'll stop scrolling through your images.
Well, actually, if you can go to the left, the one right just before this image, I believe, was one of the things I liked in this one. It started with a walk of shame, which I think is kind of an awesome way to start a Wakandan episode. Though there was no shame to be had here. Both very attractive people found each other. The hard times are hard. You look for a loving touch. That's okay. And I think it was a nice sort of, it took the complication of the previous episode and of course added the whole romance element.
Yes, of
which
course.
I thought was a cool twist. This is something you brought up, Christian. This image here for our radio audience is a ship he has where, once again, if I understand this notion that Wakanda is like light years ahead of the rest of the world, but one of the things I don't know if y'all bumped on this too, is the level of technology they had dating back thousands of years.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of these missions would be so much simpler considering the technology they have.
Yeah, right. Nothing should have taken 9 years. I guess. Yeah.
My God, no. If you have a ship like that, you probably could figure out, I don't know, GPS or a tracking device, like something basic that we've had.
Or how to get over a wall.
Right.
That's true. Like, look, Peter Parker came up with the spider tracer, that he would throw and then he would be able to find somebody again. So yeah, you're right. The Wakandans maybe could have made this a little easier. But that aside, why don't you talk about your handiwork here?
Yes, Captain
again,
Ebo.
Describe it. Yeah, Captain Ebo with the poster for Captain EO, which I don't even know if we're allowed to talk about Captain EO. I can't. This was in the early 80s. This is the early 80s. I think we're allowed to talk about Captain EO, but I'm not sure. But I thought it was funny that you took the time to do this.
Well, he got promoted at the end to become Agent Ebo. Yeah. Which, am I wrong? Wouldn't you feel like Captain's above Agent? I was a little confused by that.
I guess it's captain of what? Captain.
Yeah, I think he was like captain of like security or something, where now he gets to be a secret agent. So,
captain of IT and system analysis. And that's
James Bond was an agent. James Bond's cooler than the captain. So I go with James Bond.
But with the James Bond is not cooler than Tennille. And I know that was not worth tackling you to make that.
I can't argue with that. I can't.
So you also have this image, which I thought was very cool because, look, I mean, we all knew who the Iron Fist was when we saw them show up, but I still think it was fun that they played it off. I was like, whoa, what? It's a girl?
Yeah. And then somewhere I knew when Iron Fist showed up, I was just like, somewhere Christian is both happy and enraged. So
I'm so glad you chose that image of all of them. And Nate, Nate, I always liked the fake brick studio. That was actually the one that I thought looked the most fun with the fake skyline back there.
It was great to cover the New York Marvel shows. It did aesthetically fit very, very appropriately.
And by the way, I did almost wear that shirt today, but instead I wore a Black Panther one.
Christian, what's with the John Belushi dressed as a bee microphone?
Wow, that's because it was after Buzz, and we had to catch what the buzz was all about. The buzz was on the Iron Fist after show, which, by the way, I got to do season 2 of Iron Fist. I did not get.
wow.
Well, there was only 10 episodes, and I still say that was better, but I don't think anybody wants to hear me talk about Iron Fist yet again. But yes, you did guess correctly, Eric. What other thoughts did you have about that episode? And is there? I think we've shown some of the images that you had, but as you talk, I'll continue to highlight them. Eric,
Uh-oh.
is he not there? Oh, he just
Frozen.
left. He just left.
Oh, he had
He's
a
not using
hard
Wakanda.
out.
Not
Wait.
using Wakanda technology.
Yeah, when he says that he has a heart out, he just means it. What I guess what he really wanted to do was to just make sure that he showed me in the AfterBuzz studio, and Eric is back. So yes, we just thought that your out was harder than we thought.
Nah, it's never so hard that I can't say goodbye to yesterday. So
Eric, switch over to the Wakanda Wi-Fi when you get a chance.
circa 1800 BCE.
Yes, exactly.
They were way ahead. They had 6K already. Yeah, but this episode was fun. As mentioned, music great. I love the kind of energy of it. I like the romance element. I like Captain Ebo just trying to like keep this hothead in check. Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. It's like, wait a minute. So if I just asked nicely, I could have avoided all of this.
Yeah,
maybe a little pat, but I still think this one, though, it maybe went a touch goofy. I enjoyed this one so much, and I love the representation of Iron Fist. I thought, I'm not a Brody. I'm comfortable.
Whoa! It's my favorite episode.
That's so funny.
No, it really was a good time.
It's your favorite episode, in spite of the skirt, is I think what.
Yes, I saw the Fantastic Four. I love the female Silver Surfer. You're talking to the wrong guy.
Yeah, that's true. You are barking up the wrong tree.
Oh, I know. But Brody's got multiple daughters. Brody's a man of the people. Yeah, this was such a fun episode. It was a little bit of a lark, I dare say, to use a word I know Christian uses often in his daily existence. It was really fun. And I think then to go into the 4th episode, I thought that was this sort of like, after this sort of frivolity and the kind of how light on the feet the 3rd episode was, the 4th one, when I don't know, a bit too into the Days of Future Past kind of mode.
Yeah. And
it just got really, like, it was hard to emotionally, for me at least, to connect with the 4th one as much. I didn't feel like I in theory, I like this notion of being 3rd in line for the crown and what that does to you. I mean, I'm an only child, but I do have more than one son. I did study Jacob and Esau way back when in Hebrew school, and the notion of bloodline and what that can do to someone when you're not first in the bloodline. But I found this one was, again, not bad. It didn't really get me excited for a season 2.
As an only child, you were able to ascend to King of Delaware, right? Or no, I'm sorry. You became the King of Prussia, I believe, is the mall there.
For the 18 of us that get it, I'm so proud of you, Christian, for that one.
7 people watching. So
by
the way, when we were talking about Captain Ebo, Kama Egan says not cooler than Captain Stubing, which that made the Love Boat all the more exciting and new.
Captain Stubing was great, but he was no Captain Caveman.
All right, but look, now you're making some real sense, Brody. You had some really controversial takes early in the episode.
Like if they make Captain Caveman a woman, then I got a problem.
Well, like Captain
Kangaroo, draw the line.
I gotta hop out of here. But wonderful seeing all of your beautiful faces, and Wakanda forever, kids.
Yes, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Great to see Eric Connor, and you can find him online at Count Eric Connor. Much appreciated. But just get yourself out of here. It's all right. You can go there. So we appreciate that, and always great for Eric to squeeze us in between helping to sculpt the next generation of filmmakers, who perhaps someone out there might give us a reboot of Captain Caveman and
Nice.
Son.
Yes.
So
That was
yeah,
pretty quick.
yeah, I know.
That's impressive.
Was it worth it? Probably not. But the fact that I don't think I had ever Googled Captain Caveman and Son before, and then I got to show it off, was well worth it. So, yeah, I think that the time travel aspect, Eric referenced Days of Future Past. To me, it was more like the tacked on last couple minutes of Back to the Future. So like Christopher Lloyd comes in and says, Marty, it's your kids, and then they kind of just let go of the whole storyline, and they have Jennifer sleep in the car in the whole sequel. But it was like, all right, yeah, I guess I think I'm with everybody that we only had 4 episodes. Did one of these really have to be a time travel? And it's set in the past. That's fine. We did not have to go right into time travel. And Daniel, I get it. He didn't mind the time travel, but he does know that he loves him some time travel. So,
And I love time travel too when like it's good and it makes sense for the story and it serves a narrative other than just like, oh, we need a tie-in to the Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
So what if the reason why they didn't steal the axe back and that's why it's in the museum is because future Black Panther came back and said, actually, you have to return that because it has to be there to preserve the timeline. It's just you could have given us like anything. Just give us another episode. I would have rather had another episode of the Brody formula of go find artifacts. There's a female, I don't know, what's another old superhero? Boom. Okay. I would rather have that than future Black Panther coming back and being like, actually, remember all of these episodes? I was there and I decided that this was the moment that we have to change time. Like, I really didn't enjoy that. I did like the dynamic of the characters too, the like main 2 characters, but the whole time thing just made it all feel like just kind of unimportant. Also, MCU has like kind of established a certain way that like time travel works, and this is not that. So it's like,
exactly. To quote the great Scott Lang, Back to the Future is bullshit. So I think we have to take that into consideration. It's not this episode, right? But the whole reason I decided to go back to this backdrop is that I did love that we saw the Watcher at one point, and I feel like there's no reason for him, but that's why I was like, oh, that's cool. The Watcher's keeping an eye on this, back when he was able to watch, and I guess prior to the events of What If Season 3. But Nate, what you were saying, I like the 2 main characters, the prince and sort of the older agent. I think if they have like a more traditional adventure where, Prince Tafari is his name, if they're able to, sort of prove themselves in a different way where it doesn't involve any kind of history at all. I mean, any kind of time travel. I think it would have made it for a better story if it was a little bit more traditional to what you were saying. Brody, other thoughts on episode 4, which is called The Last Panther?
I can't get past the time travel thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Dr. Banner went into the whole, if you go back to the past, then your future is not your future. It's not your past, isn't your future, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then they go ahead and do old school time travel. Oh, I got to go back and why couldn't she have gone back 10 minutes earlier? Like, why did she have to go? Like, that's the problem with time travel if you don't do it right. Why didn't she go back a week earlier rather than when she has 10 minutes left to go back in time? She could have gone. Obviously, they've been in ruins for how long?
Yeah.
Right? For centuries or whatever it's been. She couldn't go back when she had plenty of time to go back. It was just a poorly written example of time travel.
It felt like she had the Kiefer Sutherland countdown clock going, and they're sort of creating this. It was like, well, why? You're in the future, and it's either going to change or it isn't. But to bring an important comment from Daniel Drew, Captain Caveman is the
Thank
best.
you.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Captain K.
Back to what really matters.
And son, look, I think that if you take nothing else away from this episode, this is really what should be the screenshot for this episode. And then
100%. You're welcome.
Jonathan London, who runs Geekscape, is going to look at that and go, "What the hell do they talk about on this show?" So, but yeah, I think we're kind of all on the same page. This is listed as season 1. If they did more of these, I would be open to checking them out, and not just because we do this show. I would just hope for a little bit more variety, and I think that the concept of let's get these artifacts that went out into the mainland, the real world, the outside world. I don't know what to call it. But there was Daniel was sharing some information earlier, and because I knew that Eric had to go, well, this is one question that I'll ask you guys while I find the other thing. Do you think the series could have worked better as a live action series, still extending to 10 to 12 episodes or something, would have gone into some of the deeper themes? What do you say to that, Nate?
I mean, it could. It wouldn't. It could work better, but I think the chances of them executing something like that well is very, very low. I think something like this is definitely better in animation, purely just because of the scale of doing the different time periods each episode. It just would cost so much. And I do think there again would be something very cool of a somewhat modern show that was just about different war dogs stationed around the world and the missions they're on and stuff. That could be cool for sure. But in terms of what this show did, I'm actually more in favor of more things like this. I think they need to do more animation stuff because the medium just lends itself much more to adapting comics and comic characters, doing the fantastical stuff, traveling from place to place, going to places that don't exist. I think the animation really lends to that. I just think the one thing that is lacking is just like in comic books, how artists have distinct styles, runs have distinct styles. I think a lot of the Marvel animation so far just is this kind of generic, legally distinct Pixar Clone Wars knockoff kind of stuff, and it doesn't really, I feel like if this show had more of an anthology feel, similar to what is it, Love and Robots or something, or
Love and Rockets.
No, he's right. It's a Death, Love, and Robots or something.
Oh,
okay.
Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But something like that, where each anthology was each episode was actually a different creative team, and they could all still tie the same theme together, but if each episode had more style and uniqueness to it, I think it would have made it feel more impactful. But just it's kind of like a half measure anthology where each episode is its own thing, but also they all are very stylistically the same and have very similar plot synopsis. And also in the last episode we reveal that they're all actually interconnected together. It just kind of I don't know, it felt like it kind of had one foot in the anthology and one foot in the just limited series, and then didn't really commit to either one. So as far as for live action versus animated, I definitely think pursuing more animated is kind of the way to go, just from the logistics of how much it would cost and stuff. And it's so much easier to make live action bad, whereas animation can be not stellar but still be enjoyable. The illusionary fourth wall is much easier to shatter when you have real people in front of the camera.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking. You mentioned sort of the kind of inconsistent styles, and one of the things we liked about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, it had its kind of unique. It is a very John Romita Sr. style that they went with. This has a style that we're actually going to go through. Daniel doing some homework and reading up on, and X-Men '97 looks like X-Men '93, but more modernized. So yeah, I wonder if there could be some kind of continuity, where things will feel similar. We'll talk about another project before we wrap up in a moment, and we'll see if that one's going to look like something earlier. But Brody, I wanted to give you a chance to weigh in on if this series works better as a live action.
I mean, I don't think you have to change the writing depending on whether it's animated or not. I think to Nate's point, the scope of this show, it would cost you billions of dollars to make this movie. If it was a 4 hour it's incomprehensible. Even the first episode was with the ships and everything. And then you're on the train and there's too much going on. Even in the third episode, when he's trying to escape from that Chinese city and the guards are at the door and all of a sudden he busts through like a video game on a cart and then sleds down the mountain. That would look like crap in real life. It would look completely unbelievable. But in a cartoon, it looked like I was playing Dragon's Lair or Space Ace back in the day. Like it just looked like a Don Bluth. You know what I mean? So it didn't look real or realistic, but you're like, it's a cartoon. It's not supposed to. I don't think that would have translated. I think the gimmicky stuff would have been difficult to pull off. But to your point, first thing I thought of when Nate was like, I didn't like the animation. It's similar to the Star Wars stuff. It looked to me like Mulan, like the evil guy in Mulan had the same kind of ant legs and ant arms, same shape. Whereas Spider-Man was completely different than anything, completely different than X-Men 97. And I loved it, and completely different than the Spider-Verse, right? Like Into the Spider-Verse is a whole other genre of artwork that's like amazing. This was like, again, the scenery was great, but the people were off-putting at times with how weird they looked. Whereas Spider-Man was such a joy to watch. I would have watched that with the sound off just to see the comic books moving, right? Because that's what that is. It's like a comic book that was animated. So I think if Wakanda looked maybe darker, but similar animation, I would have enjoyed it more. I think they took it away from looking like a comic book and made it look like a cartoon, like a Star Wars cartoon. So.
Right. Yeah. No. So I think we're in agreement there. I understand what Daniel's talking about. You know, maybe the themes are a little bit more adult, maybe a little bit more weight. But in talking about the animation style, I'm not quite sure where Daniel found this, but he says Eyes of Wakanda features a hand-painted animation style inspired by contemporary African-American artists such as Ernie Barnes, as well as illustrator Dean Cornwell. Barnes's style served as inspiration for the characters' exaggerated proportions in the series, something that Brody's been talking about. The animators also looked at contemporary international art, starting in the present and working backwards to find common themes that could translate to Wakandan influence throughout history. Craig Elliott, head of the art department, worked with artists around the world, including from Nigeria, South Africa, and Egypt. I think that that's all interesting. I think that that's kind of cool that they had that conscious effort. But at the end of the day, it does still look an awful lot like Clone Wars, you know.
Okay, I have breaking news.
Yes.
So I looked up Ernie Barnes.
Yes.
And I started looking at his artwork, and it looked like what we just watched. He's absolutely correct. But then when I saw his artwork, I said, why does that look familiar to me? Why does that look like something famous to me? My friends, Ernie Barnes is the artist who drew the Good Times family portrait from the old show Good Times.
Hey, Nate, you know what Good Times is?
Yeah, I do actually.
Have you ever watched it?
About Captain Caveman and Captain EO.
I know. So you're saying that perhaps maybe you might not have ever seen Jimmy J.J. Walker. And I'm getting it. Just give me a second.
Oh, get it.
I can't do it all at once.
Well, his art was also kind of came back into the public eye with Sinners too, because they released a poster that kind of was influenced by his art. Yeah, no, definitely. That's actually. Oh yeah, you know what? I see that right here, and my desktop is getting a little crowded with all. It's all because of Captain Caveman and Son, by the way. But yeah, so then this is that style. I didn't realize it was blurry like this. Sorry, but I did find the Sinners image that you're talking about. I just didn't do the quality control on it, so my apologies. In any case, so I think that is very interesting, and I wanted to bring in X-Men superfan Emma Frost.
who is one of my favorite contributors because of their particularly long name. I'm gonna have to find out. Are you a super fan of Emma Frost? Super fan of the X-Men? Super fan of both? I'm a fan of both. I think with animation, they managed to streamline ideas and stories that would have taken too much to do in live action. The art style is beautiful, better than What If. What If is a little bit more of a traditional look, but I certainly respect that opinion. Um, and so I appreciate that. So there's just a couple other quick things that I want to talk about as we're talking about animation here. It's going to be a moment before we do another episode of this show, but before we leave, I'll let you know the next time you'll be able to see at least Eric and I. But the next time that we're doing anything on this show is something that I have admitted that I could not be less excited about, and that's Marvel Zombies. They moved up the release date to September 24th. I did not enjoy that What If episode. I'm not a zombie fan in general, as I've mentioned to Brody many times. I know that you did a Walking Dead related podcast for a while there.
Yep.
But this will be premiering September 24th, presumably all episodes. So you'll see us probably around a month from now on that. I'll let you know some other programming notes for sure. Where are we at with Marvel Zombies? I'm going to ask you first, Brody, because maybe you're more willing to open your heart to it because you were a Walking Dead fan for so long.
Well, I'm a very big fan of The Walking Dead, but I wouldn't say I'm a zombie fan. That's the interesting thing. I like The Walking Dead storylines that happen to have zombies in them, but I don't go and watch Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. I'll watch it because it's Marvel.
Sure.
And I'm intrigued by what they're doing now that I feel like they have their footing again, where I'll give it a shot. I feel like their animation has mostly been hits with X-Men 97 and Spider-Man. And again, I enjoyed Wakanda. I didn't love it, but it was fine.
Sure. Yeah.
I think if they use the right characters and the right storylines and they do some kitschy things, I will enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll give it a shot.
Nate, I wanted to get your thoughts on Marvel Zombies and if you're expecting to watch it, because then that always lets me know whether or not I should reach out to you for our episode.
I mean, if it's like What If, like I probably won't like it as much. If they lean more into like the book this is based on, it could be cool. It could be fun. Brody, have you read the Robert Kirkman Marvel Zombies book?
No, I haven't. Do you recommend? Yeah.
Yes, I do recommend. It's silly. It's not like a super serious, like, wow, what an amazing story. It's more like fun kind of a thing.
Okay.
But there is like actually a story to it, and it's actually kind of it's interesting. And I think if they try to just kind of adapt that, they'll have to clean it up a little bit. But if they just try to adapt that, I think that's like a home run, just like sitting there to be done, especially in animation. But I guess we'll see. My interest is piqued at least to know more about it.
When Cam Egan it always knows the barometer for any Marvel project. I'm looking forward to it, but not entirely hyped for it. It can't be bad as Secret Invasion. I mean, one day I'm going to see some. That Ice Cube War of the Worlds. So I've actually just realized I have seen something worse than Secret Invasion. But Daniel Drew, love the original Marvel Zombies run from 2005, 2007. I think that's what you're talking about, Nate. I would love the characters being tonally as they were in that comic run. All right, so Anthony Manzano, he really wanted to get our thoughts on this. When do you guys think Hollywood in general is going to transition to using the Indian box office in Asia instead of relying on China, who seems to be so active on what they allow in their box office? I honestly don't know enough about it, but I would assume that they do. I mean, it's a huge market, so I would assume they do a good push there. You don't want to ignore the Chinese market. You certainly would like them to play your movies, and sometimes they unfortunately have to alter how large characters are on posters, which is very unfortunate that they still feel the need to do that. But I don't know. I think that you're not focusing on one instead of the other. I think that Disney certainly has a global approach. I don't know if either of you want to weigh in on that. It's just Anthony was kind enough to subscribe to the channel and wanted to ask us that, so I wanted to answer it. And I do want to mention, for those of us who enjoyed Thunderbolts, there are those of you who maybe didn't get a chance to see it. It'll be on Disney Plus in just a couple weeks, August 27th, which seems quick, but it'll be there. So, and I appreciate that. And then the last thing, this will be the final thing. I do want to show that there was some hype for this, and some people might have gotten a little annoyed when we were told, "Oh, check out this the new Spider-Man suit reveal for Brand New Day." And the thing that I saw was actually shorter than this. This is like 25 seconds. I saw something that was like 4 seconds before this. And here it is. Okay, there's Tom Holland. He's Peter Parker. He's in the suit. And I don't think we need an event for everything, is what I'm trying to say here.
I just don't care.
Yeah, it looks like a Spider-Man suit. And if you told me that that's what he wore in the last 3 movies, I know it's not. But if you told me, I'd be like, yeah, probably right.
Look, I'm happy for the people who love Spider-Man that are very excited to nitpick the details of each suit. I am happy for them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I liked I liked all of them. Let's just say that. Brody, any thoughts? Is this going to change how quickly you buy your tickets for Spider-Man Brand New Day?
No, but it does give you a lot of information. It tells you that he's not wearing Stark technology anymore.
Very true.
And also his suit is very much based on a combination of the other 2 Spider-Man suits that he saw in his last movie.
Oh, that's
so
fair. Yeah.
The raised webbing and the larger spider, I think he may have patented his suit or what's the word I'm looking for? Designed his suit based on their looks, which I think is interesting. And also there's rumor that Tobey Maguire is going to be in this movie again. And so I think this costume is a nod to the other Spider-Men. So that and it shows you that he's ground level and he's back to the old traditional Spider-Man look, and he's not going to have the Stark technology suit. So I think it just says something, and it's like you go, "Oh, okay, it says a lot. Got to go. I'm done with it."
He did this in a previous movie, but he is leaning into the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right. He's going back to being the friend. Now he's not an Avenger anymore. Nobody knows who he is. That kind of thing. So I think that'll be interesting, and I think that's what the suit symbolizes. So I'm fine with it.
But I was not losing my mind over that. Cam Egan saw Fantastic Four, thought it was great. Yes, I think that people were generally very happy, except for the bean counters at Disney, who I think thought it would have made $1 billion by now. I don't know. We as fans can't worry about that stuff. I thought Thunderbolts was great. I thought that Captain America: Brave New World was less than great, but these last 2, I thought that they're on a good run creatively, and hopefully the box office follows. I know we've gone over, but Nate, did you want to say anything specific about Fantastic Four? Because I know you weren't available when we did our episodes about it, and I just wanted to give you a chance before we say goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I think it is a good symbol, hopefully, of what is to come of the Marvel movies. The bar has been set so low, so that enjoying it doesn't really feel like that much of an achievement. I think of the 2 films I saw in those past 2 weeks, I think Superman is definitely the better film. But yeah, I mean, Galactus was really cool. It was cool to finally see Galactus done right and well. And yeah, I want to see it again. I think I want to see it again.
I would definitely like to see it again. And the second episode we did, I was just too tired. I was going to go see it in IMAX this time, and I haven't yet, but I would certainly like to. So hopefully I get the opportunity to see it again while it's still in theaters. Yes, Thunderbolts is now available, but I hope everybody saw it when it was out theatrically. So before we get to your plugs, I want to let everybody know the next time they will be able to see at least Eric and I. Of course, either of you are welcome to join us for the Geekscape Book Club, which will be later this month. And I'm vamping a little while I look at my texts from Eric Connor. So it'll be Tuesday, August 26th at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. We'll be talking about Ironheart. And the month after that, we're not supposed to officially say when this is happening until they finalize the schedule. But let's just say, if you're in Los Angeles and you're planning on going to LA Comic-Con, you might want to check out a panel that may or may not be happening on Saturday, the 27th of September, which will be our next episode of the Geekscape Book Club, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, the 12-issue series that some would say redefined comic books for some time. And it is celebrating its 40th anniversary and also was the brainchild of the recently departed Jim Shooter. So we'll be focused on that. Maybe that day, maybe I'll see Nate. Maybe I'll see Eric. It's all very, very hypothetical right now.
It's up in the air right now.
Yeah. But what's not hypothetical is where people who are fans of Brooklyn Boys can get the greatest podcast for fans of Brooklyn Boys. Right, Brody?
That's correct. You can get our latest episode, which dropped last night, episode 347, wherever you get your podcasts. And you may see videos of us. We just started doing video promos for the podcast. So check those out on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me on those platforms at David Brody, and on TikTok at David Brody 12. Everywhere else I'm at David Brody. So
episode 347, that's cute. If you want to check out episode 652 of the Blackcast, you can go ahead and find that BLADTCAST, the YouTube version, and also the audio version. We covered what was shockingly the 25th anniversary of the 6-episode Clerks animated series. So if you're a fan of that show, check it out.
Oh, wow. And as Kevin Feige and Michael Eisner have said recently, it's quality, not quantity.
Well, that's not the way I look at it at all. It's all about quantity. As I mentioned, the 4 other shows that I'm doing. Check out Who Are These Broadcasters Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. And we appreciate everybody doing that. Nate, people can find you if they want to, but you're not looking to be found, I think, is what we've established. But
yeah, pretty much.
Every time that we have you on, I'm like, damn it, I need a flashing neon light as well. I need one of those. By the way, Daniel reminded me of something that I just forgot. 4 months until Wonder Man. So it's going to be a little lean for a while. We'll probably come up with a special episode before Marvel's Zombies, but this is kind of, this is a little bit of a lean season for us. So thank you to Eric Connor, Count Eric Connor. Thank you to Nate Miller, David Brody, and of course to everyone, and I do mean everyone in the live chat. That is all the time we have for now. As the great Stan Lee would say, Excelsior!